Shalom, shalom. It's the brother Kazawan.
Brother Shema,
Brother Wiz.
Coming back at you with another video, man. Right? We're gonna give all honor, glory, and praise to Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai, right? And a strong shalom, the brothers and sisters out there, enduring this truth and standing strong for the Lord and refraining from evil, right? We'll hop into the video, right? And we're gonna go, into this parable in Matthew the 20th chapter, right? The vineyard workers, right? It's always good to know the parables. It's always good to, understand these things and stay occupied in these things. Like when you read Sirach, the 9th chapter, right? Sirach, the 39th chapter, right? I want to get a quick precept. 1 Timothy. Yeah, I'm going to go to that. 1 Timothy chapter 4. 1 Timothy chapter 4. And we're going to start at verse 13. It says, "Till I come, give attendance to reading, to exhortation, to doctrine." Right? "Neglect not the gift that is in thee, which was given thee by the prophecy with the laying on of the hands of the presbytery. Meditate upon these things, give thyself wholly to them, that thy profiting may appear to all." Right? So you gotta meditate upon everything about this truth. You gotta give attendance to reading, to exhortation, to doctrine. Because if you don't, you're neglecting the spirit. You're neglecting the gift that was given to you. And we know what happens when you don't use the gifts that was given to you. The Lord takes them away. He gives them to somebody better than you. Right? So you never want to get caught up just neglecting it, saying, "You know what? I ain't gonna read today. I'm too tired for work. I'm too tired because I had to work. Oh, I had to deal with this and I had to deal with that. I can't study. I can't pray. Can't meditate because I just had too much going on." No, don't do that. Right? Don't put yourself in a hole like that. You should always want to meditate upon something, at least, whether it's a video, whether you damn reading, you skimming through precepts, you thinking about the precepts, you playing the gauntlet in your head, right? Whatever it is, right? It was a precept that I was thinking about, but I just can't remember. Right? I think it's 1 Thessalonians. Chapter 5. I believe that's it. Might not be. This is 1 Thessalonians chapter 5 and 19. It says, "Quench not the spirit." Meaning don't let the spirit dry up, shrivel up, and just become hard and all crunchy and it's like a Cheeto. Right? Don't quench the spirit. Right? When you thirsty, what are you gonna do? You're gonna drink some water so it quench your thirst. And these are the words of life. These words of life are water. So you should always be thirsting after this. Right? We in the wilderness, the spiritual wilderness, should always be thirsting after this water, right? So that you can quench your thirst. All right, let's go to the book of Psalms, chapter 63 and verse number 1. And then I'm gonna let brothers hop in there before we hop into the parable. Right? This is Psalms chapter 63 and verse number 1. It says, "O Yahweh, thou art my God, early will I seek thee. My soul thirsteth for thee. My flesh longeth for thee in a dry and thirsty land where no water is." Right? And it's nothing but evil here. It's no water here. The only water that you get is in this Bible. Right? So your soul and your spirit is always thirsting after the Lord. So you got to get to it. You got to meditate upon it. You can't quench the spirit. That means you have to get into this Bible. You have to get into this word. Right? But brothers got it.
I want to get this quick precept. It's Matthew chapter 26 and verse 41. It says, "Watch and pray that ye enter not into temptation. The spirit indeed is willing, but the flesh is weak." All right. So like the brother was saying, like we gotta be thirsting after the right things. And a lot of the times the flesh can get in the way. At the end of the day, we all gotta do certain things in this flesh every day to keep it maintained. Right. So every now and then your flesh could take over. Every now and then you might forget what you're doing this for. You might have a little dip in your faith or a little dip in your patience, a dip in your spirit as a whole. But that's why it says you got to watch and pray that these things don't happen to you, that you don't enter the temptation of, you know what I'm saying? Hey, maybe I'm kind of tired of doing the work. I think I've been doing this long enough, but with that, I yield.
Con, I got a quick precept. Sirach 14 and verse 20.
Hold on.
Yeah, I'll wait for you. Y'all can hear me clear? Okay. Look at Sirach chapter 14, verse 20. Blessed is the man that doeth meditate good things and wisdom, and that reason of holy things by his understanding. So the Lord said, blessed is the man that doeth meditate good things, right? You don't want to be thinking about the things in this world, meditating on things that's not profitable. Thinking about what how it should do in the situation you're in, right? Like the brothers was going to think about how can I increase, how can I remember the precept? I'm ready for getting this precept. First, I can't remember the last word, right? How to get more alms, or I need to read more, right? And read that again. Blessed is the man that doeth meditate good things and wisdom, and that reason for holy things by his understanding. He that considereth her ways in his heart shall also have understanding in her secrets, right? So you should always be thirsty and meditating on good things, wisdom, the secrets of the Most High. Because once you occupy the net, you will understand his secrets, right? Now you with that.
And now we can hop straight into the parable, right? This is the book of Matthew, chapter 20, and verse number 1. It says, for the kingdom of heaven is like unto a man that is an householder, which went out early in the morning to hire laborers into his vine. And so this householder is talking about the Lord, right? This householder is talking about the Lord. And he goes out to hire laborers every day to come into his vineyard, right? His vineyard is the people, right? Be taking care of the people, right? And the laborers, right? That's the service. That's the service that you see in the truth day in and day out, doing the works of the Lord every single day on the corner, doing charity, doing videos, teaching their families, building up the sheep, helping their people out, right? Those are the laborers, and the householder is the Lord, right? So let's go to the book real quick. I want to go to Isaiah chapter 5 and 1. All right, Isaiah chapter 5 and 1. It says, now will I sing to my well-beloved a song of my beloved touching his vineyard. My well-beloved had the vineyard and a very fruitful hill. Now this is talking about the Lord, right? The Lord is the beloved man, right? He says, now will I sing to my beloved a song of my beloved touching his vineyard. My well-beloved had the vineyard and a very fruitful hill. And that vineyard is the nation of Israel, right? It's the nation of Israel, right? Let's keep reading. It says, and he fenced it and gathered out the stones thereof and planted it with the choicest vine and built a tower in the midst of it. Also made a winepress therein, and he looked at it that it should bring forth grapes, and it brought forth wild grapes, right? Meaning it brings forth, you got wicked people, you got righteous people. Right? It says, and now, O inhabitants of Jerusalem and the men of Judah, judge, I pray you, betwixt me and my vine. Right? So that's talking about the nation of Israel. Right? So we getting hired into this vineyard, right, to serve the Lord, to serve our people, right? Let's go to the book, right, of Luke chapter 10 and verse number 2. And then I'll let brothers hop in there. All right. Because you got to do work in a vineyard. Right? You can't just let a vineyard grow. It's got to be tamed. It's got to be well, it's got to be looked after, right? The Lord just can't leave and then, his vineyard grow. He got to put the spirit on men to do the work and to come into this truth and, bring forth fruit in that vineyard, right? It's the book of Luke chapter 10 and verse number 2. It says, therefore said he unto them, the harvest truly is great, but the laborers are few. Pray ye therefore the Lord of harvest that he would send forth laborers into his harvest. Right. And those harvesters, they're going into the vineyard and they bring it forth the fruit. Right. But it's not a lot. It's not a lot. He said the laborers are few. You don't got a lot of brothers in the truth, truly in the truth, right? Doing the work of the Lord. Right. You got some that just talk about it. Right. So the Lord said, hey, pray ye therefore the Lord of harvest that he would send forth laborers into his harvest. Hey, and that's what we want to do. We hoping that the Lord bring forth more and more, hire more and more laborers to come into his vineyard and harvest, right? Because it's a great harvest. You got billions of Israelites still not in the truth, billions of them. So it's a great thing to be in his truth, right? Brothers got it.
I want to get this in Mark chapter 11. Right, because a lot of times, you know what I'm saying, when you read in the Bible, a lot of these parables are referring to things like plants and fruit, right? Things that grow and things that wither, because hey, we are those fruit, right? We are something that can grow in the truth or we can wither in the truth. We can grow in the world or we can wither in the world, right? It's Mark chapter 11, and I want to start at verse number 11. And Yahushua entered into Jerusalem and into the temple. And when he had looked round about upon all things, and now the eventide was come, he went out unto Bethany with the 12. And on the morrow, when they were come from Bethany, he was hungry. And seeing a fig tree afar off having leaves, he came, if happily he might find anything thereon. Right? So the Lord came up to this tree, right? And we know that trees in the Bible can be referring to men, right? So is the Lord going to come to you happily looking for some type of fruit to grow on you, and he comes and finds none? I'm gonna keep reading. And when he came to it, he found nothing but leaves, for the time of figs was not yet. Right? So hey, maybe you just ain't ready yet. You know, maybe hey, when the Lord came and came to collect what you owed him, you didn't have it yet. You were still working on that same bag from last time. Right? And let's see what the Lord said to the fig tree. And Yahushua answered and said unto it, no man eat fruit of thee hereafter forever. And his disciples heard it, right? So you might not have another chance to go hard how the Lord intended you to. You might have that one time when the Lord come to collect and hey, that's it. All because, hey, you didn't understand that you were a tree that was supposed to bring forth fruit. But with that, I yield.
I got one quick precept going into that. Yeah, like the brother said, you never know, right? Let me pull up the blue letter as well. Right, this is 1 Corinthians chapter 3, verse 9. But I'm gonna pull it up on the blue letter real quick, actually. I'm gonna read it. Right, this is 1 Corinthians 3 and 9. It says, "For we are laborers together with Yahweh. Ye are Yahweh's husbandry. Ye are God's building." Right, so you're the Lord's husbandry. Right, you taking care of his vineyard. You're taking care of his temple because you are the temple. Right, we're laborers for the Most High. Right, now let's go to this. Some people might not know what husbandry is. All right, husbandry. It says a cultivated field, husbandry, tillage. So hey, we're a field, right? A farm, right? We taking care of that vineyard for the Lord until He gets back, right? So you got to hold yourself diligent to that, right? But if you ain't got nothing, Sam, we gonna go back to Matthew 20.
I had a quick precept. Psalms chapter 1. So it's going over that yard, that vineyard, that fruit. And we need to be bearing fruit, right? Start at verse 1. You there? Come.
Yeah.
Right, it says, "Blessed is the man that walketh not in the counsel of the ungodly, nor standeth in the way of sinners, nor sitteth in the seat of the scornful." Right? "But his delight is in the law of the Lord, and in his law doeth he meditate day and night." Like as we was going to. Right? Read this the point. "And he shall be like a tree planted by the rivers of water, that bringeth forth his fruit in his season." Right? So as we being that, being represented as trees in that vineyard, we got to make sure we bear forth fruit. Because Yahweh Bashem Yahushua is going to come forth to see if you bearing that fruit in his season. When that time's come, right? Renown, his leaf also shall not wither, and whatsoever he doeth shall prosper. Right? And with that I yield.
We're going back to Matthew chapter 20. Right? This is Matthew chapter 20 and verse number 2. Right? It says, and when he had agreed with the laborers for a penny a day, he sent them into his vineyard. Right? So he agreed with the laborers, right, to give them, a penny a day. I mean, this is their reward. This is what they agreed to get when they came into the truth. Right? And if you read this entire chapter, the parable just makes complete sense when you read the entire chapter, and we don't get to that after we finish it. Right? But he said, they all agree for a penny a day, right? So these are the first laborers that he hired. So keep that in mind. These are the laborers that he hired first thing in the morning, early in the morning, and they got a penny a day, right? Let's read on, right? It says, and he went out about the third hour and saw others standing idle in the marketplace. And he said unto them, go ye also into the vineyard, and whatsoever is right, I will give you. And they went their way. Right, so now you got the third hour. So you had the laborers early in the morning, right? That would represent like some men that may have been in the truth longer than you. They may have had the gifts, the wisdom, knowledge, understanding. They might have did mighty works way before you even came into the truth. Then you got the men that came in the third hour. Third hour, right? He saw them standing idle in the marketplace. Right, now what does that mean? Right, he saw them standing idle. Right, let's go to the book of Sirach, chapter 33. Real quick, right? Because when you're idle, what are you doing? What are you doing with your life when you're idle? Right? When you weren't in the truth, you were idle. You had nothing to do except for evil. Right? This is Sirach chapter 33 and verse number 27. It says, "Send him to labor, that he be not idle, for idleness teacheth much evil." Right? So those men that was idle in the market, right? What precept? Okay, standing idle in the marketplace, they weren't in the truth. They were evil. They were in the world doing nothing. Right? That's all it was. Right? It wasn't nothing, them just sitting around. No, they was evil. They wasn't in the world. They didn't have the spirit of the Most High. They had nothing to work for. Right? So that's what they were doing. And then the Lord hired them. Right? It says, go ye also into the vineyard. Whatsoever is right, I will give you. I mean, he's going to give them a reward, obviously, which is that penny. Right? He says, he told them to go in the vineyard and do the work, basically. Right? I think I got one more precept. The brothers got it, actually. I'm going to let brothers hop in there.
Got something, Wiz?
Uh,
I got a quick precept.
I got one.
Right. Proverbs chapter 19, real quick. Right, because being idle and lazy it puts you to sleep. It puts you to do nothing. Right, it makes you hungry. You just starving spiritually. Right, you're just hoping for the Lord to come and feed you with that bread. Right, this is Proverbs 19 and verse 15. It says, "Slothfulness casted into a deep sleep." Right, so when you're not in the truth, right? Obviously, you can be slothful in the truth, right? But when you in the world, you slothful, right? You're not doing nothing for the Lord, right? So you're in a deep sleep. It says, "And an idle soul shall suffer hunger," and you're gonna be starving spiritually when you in the world, right? You an idle soul, you have nothing. You don't have the Lord, right? So you're gonna spiritually starve, right? The same way you will starve from if you don't get up and work. You'll go and starve because you won't get a paycheck at the end of the week. So you'll starve physically, obviously, but spiritually, you're going to starve if you don't get into the words of the Lord. If you don't do the work of the Lord, right? Whatever work it may be that is magnifying the name of the Lord, if you're not doing it, hey, and you being idle, hey, you're going to suffer hunger, right? But brothers got it.
Right. I'm going to bring out Proverbs chapter 13 and 4. Right. Proverbs 13 and 4 says, "The soul of the sluggard desireth and have nothing, but the soul of the diligent shall be made fat." So I mean, if you idle, not doing nothing. You know, it's people in this world, they desire everything. They desire to do whatever in this world, but they don't tend to put their hands into the work, put their hands in the plow. They just desire. And then as times go by, they be like, dang, I should have did this. Get the moving, right? And when it says, but he that openeth Salakia, but the soul of the diligent shall be made fat, right? So when you diligent, you obviously going to be made fat. And you're going to get the rewards that the Most High going to reward you with, right? And brothers got it.
Brothers got anything before I start reading on? Be on verse. Come.
Brother Aaron?
Yeah.
Right. I'm with Proverbs, Proverbs 24, right? Proverbs is 24th chapter, right? I'm going to start at verse 30, right? It says, I went by the field of the slothful and by the standing, and by the vineyard of the man void of understanding. By the man that's either slothful or a man that's not occupied is a man that's void of understanding. Right? Because the truth is that there is no such thing as really being idle. There's no such thing as not doing anything, because you don't get into something. Like, you ever been sitting there feeling like you're doing absolutely nothing? However, you done scrolled your Facebook story probably like 15 to 16 times. Or your Instagram reel 30 to 40 times. Right? You done went from having righteous stuff on your Instagram search page. A lot of brothers be afraid to press the search page, man, because you know what type of stuff you look at on Instagram. You know what type of stuff you into on Instagram, right? So many people don't think that we can see what you like on Instagram. You know we can see that, right? You're not bored. You're just occupied in the wrong thing. There is no such thing as being idle. You're going to occupy yourself in something. What it says, I went by the field of the slothful and by the vineyard of the man void of understanding. What do you think these men that were void of understanding doing, man? Everybody doing work, right? We doing work. I mean, you got a field of slothful men who are void of understanding. There's no type of madness to tell you what's going on in this field, man. Nothing's getting done. They occupying their time with something. Like when brothers at work, you ain't not doing nothing if you're not working. If you're on your break, you probably scrolling your phone. You're probably searching for what got the least amount of calories in the vending machine. Are you probably in the bathroom? We used to go to the bathroom when I was at the factory, man. We used to go, you go sit in the bathroom for 10 minutes. Be on whatever social media site it is that you're going to be occupied in something. Well, a man that's void of understanding is occupied in stupidity. It says, and lo, it was all grown over with thorns and nettles, and had covered the face, and nettles had covered the face thereof. What is slothful man? He allowed the wrong things to build up. Think of you in a vineyard, right? A beautiful vineyard, right? Full of grapes. Grapes to make beautiful wine, man. Right? That good wine that we drink at the high holy days, right? And the vineyard that you're getting your grapes from is full of slothful men. They're unnurtured grapes. Like when you pick a grape, it's supposed to be firm. Or these grapes are a little squishy, man. They don't give forth good wine, right? That's the wine that they make Taylor Port out of. Taylor Port is nigga wine. Salaki, I don't know if I can say that. It's good nigga wine, but that's what they make it out of. That's why it's so cheap, right? Because they make it out of a certain type of grapes, man, right? What happens is when you got a slothful, the product, you're going to have a product regardless. There's going to be a product regardless. However, if you're in the field of the slothful, the product that you bring forth is going to be absolute garbage. It's going to be garbage, right? It says, and lo, it was grown over with thorns and nettles had covered it. If a brother could real fast, Google it. What's the definition of a nettle? Right? Figure that out, man.
Says a herbaceous plant which has jagged leaves covered with stinging hairs.
Right. It says that it's it said that it's a herbaceous plant that has jagged leaves covered with stinging hairs, man. right? The fruit that you produce will become painful to everybody else, right? You become so obsessed with your lust that you become obsessed with women, not just any woman, but whorish women, right? That's what's happened to the Black and Hispanic society, man. And you've been so bored that you become obsessed with whorish women, and because women want to be liked, they become the exact whores that you want them to be. You're a herbaceous plant, right? Because since you're not doing the correct and proper work, you're allowing nettles to spring up. You're allowing thorns to spring up. And everybody that tries to eat of the fruit of your produce ends up hurting themselves. That's why OnlyFans is so popular, man. That's why sisters that are covered up that are on Instagram or on Facebook don't get any likes because you don't like righteous women. You don't like covered women. You like bisexual, mixed. You get my point, right? You're the problem because of the work that you do, right? Reading on, it says, then I saw and considered it well. I saw this thing, man. You know what brought me into the truth? It wasn't just half of it was Deuteronomy 28th chapter, right? Matter of fact, what precept do I want? I think I want, right, wash it with the with the spirit and with fire. I'm gonna go to Matthew the 3rd chapter real fast. Let's see if that's what I want. Right, Matthew, right, chapter 3. Right, I'm gonna start at verse 11. It says, I indeed baptize you with water unto repentance, but he that cometh after me is mightier than I, whose shoes I am not worthy to bear. He shall baptize you with the Holy Ghost and with fire. Right? When you read this, matter of fact, so like I'm gonna go to Acts chapter 10 real fast, because we're gonna break down what this actually means, right? Acts the 10th chapter. Right, Acts chapter 10, right, and I'm gonna start at verse like 30. I'm gonna start at verse 37. It says that word I say, ye know, that was published throughout all Judea and began from Galilee after the baptism which John preached, how God anointed Yahushua of Nazareth with the Holy Ghost and with power. Right, that fire that it's talking about is talking about absolute power, man. It's talking about power. And when I came into the truth, man, I heard Deuteronomy 28. Right, there was a power that the Lord gave me, and the Spirit that the Most High said, the Holy Ghost and power. Right, the Holy Spirit is just talking about like a frame of mind, man, like a vibe. Right now, when I started to have the same vibe or the same frame of mind as the Most High, man, I looked at the rest of the world. I looked at the rest of the world, and I learned something. I learned that what this world brings forth is nettles and thorns and garbage, right? It says, then I saw, right, back in Proverbs chapter 24 and verse 32, then I saw and considered it well, man. When you've been in the truth, right, never look at the world as a place to go back to, man. But you look at the world for what it is. It's garbage, right? It's nothing but something to hurt you and everybody else that tries to eat the fruit thereof, right? But you look back and you consider. It says, and I looked upon it and received instruction. Looking at what people do in the world should give you all the instruction you need. And the Bible gives you the rest of it. When you look in the world and you see how little young women become whores, man, because they might have been molested or lied to them, they might have gotten beat, or how men become abusive because they were abused when they were younger. When you get older, it makes you not want to do those things, right? When you look at the world and you see the destruction that comes to the Black community because of drugs and because of lying and because of the hatred that we have for one another, it should make you want to increase brotherhood, man. You should increase, or Salaki, you should receive instruction, right? 33, this is the point. It says, yet a little sleep, a little slumber, a little folding of the hands to sleep, man. Right? You might see what's going on in the world, But because you refuse to work, you go to sleep. You go to sleep, you bring forth horrible fruit, and you allow those nettles and those thorns to grow. Right? It says, so shall thy poverty come as one that travaileth. Travaileth meaning like pain. Man. Your poverty is going to come as one that travaileth. Right? And the breakdown to that is, right, one that's prevailing is like, it's like a form of being in poverty, right? Being in poverty hurts. Being in poverty is painful because you don't eat. Being in poverty, you don't even have the basic necessities that you need, right? Your light's not even on. Half the time you don't have a shelter. You got to move from place to place, right? It says, and thy want as an armed man, right? What is that talking about? You ever seen somebody that wanted to rob somebody? You know how thirsty they are to take something? How bad, in order to steal paper, kill people for paper, you know how bad you have to want something? Well, the people that don't do the work, man, the people that produce horrible fruit, that's how bad they're going to want, man. Because they're going to be lacking in that much because you're lazy. You're lazy, and because you're lazy, you bring pain to everybody else, man. My brother's got it.
No, we're gonna go back to it, go down a few verses because it's pretty much just saying the same thing, right? I think we in verse 5. All right, it says again he went out. This is Matthew 25. It says again he went out about the sixth and ninth hour and did likewise, meaning he saw more idle workers, right? More men standing idle, and he brought them into the truth, right? He hired them, and they all got a penny for their reward, right? At the end of the day, right? Right, it says, and about the 11th hour he went out and found others idle, said unto them, why stand ye here all the day idle? They said to him, because no man hath hired us. He said unto them, go ye also into the vineyard. Whatsoever is right, that shall ye receive. Right, and what that mean? Right, no man hath hired us. Right, I mean that it didn't have nothing to do. Right, Islam couldn't hire you. Right, you wasn't bringing forth no fruit. You wasn't taking care of nothing when you was in Islam. Christianity, spirituality, doing your own will, right? You was just sitting there idle, had nothing to do. You had no purpose in life, essentially, right? The brothers got a point on that. They could hop in there. I ain't got no precept. I was just, going up the spirit. Right, this is verse 8. It says, so when even was come, the Lord of the vineyard said unto his steward, call the laborers and give them their hire, beginning from the last unto the first. It says, and when they came that were hired about the 11th hour, they received every man a penny. Right, so every man is getting their the end of the days, their money from working. Right. It says, but when the first came, they supposed that they should have received more, and they likewise received every man a penny. And when they had received it, they murmured against the good men of the house, right, saying, these last have wrought but 1 hour, and thou hast made them equal unto us, which have borne the burden and heat of the day. Right. So the men that was hired in the early morning, right, the first man that was hired, right, they got a penny, and they like, man, I should have received more than this. Right, I deserve more than this. I've been in this truth longer than these men. I've been hired doing work, bringing forth more fruit, magnifying the name of the Lord way more than them. Right? Why am I just receiving a penny? The same reward as them. Right? They murmuring it. That's them murmuring against the Lord. Right? And then saying, these last have wrought but 1 hour, and thou hast made them equal unto us, which have borne the burden in the heat of the day. Right? Because they feel like because they gone through more affliction, more hell, did more work, then why are they equal unto the men that was hired, the last hour? Right? That's evil. Right? You don't want to think like that. Right? Those men that might have been hired last, they might be somebody back on earth. They might be Moses. They might be David. They could be anybody. Right? Just like today, right? If you have a damn prospect in your camp, or even if he's not prospect, right? He just come up to camp, right? And you've been in the camp for 5 years, and then he started knowing the breakdowns just like you, understanding everything just like you, right? He get onto your level, right? You do him getting jealous, right? You can't be doing that. That's all, right? Billy's got a point for grab this precept.
I got a precept. Philippians 4. Philippians 4 and 11. Right, just to speak on that, because y'all can hear me. Yeah, I don't know why. Yeah, Philippians 4 and 11. Because they expected to want more. You know, I mean, you may not be worthy of having more than a penny. You may not be worthy of having, more understanding because you don't know how you're going to react when the Lord receives it to you, right? Just the book of Philippians chapter 4, verse 11. It says, not that I speak in respect of want, for I have learned in whatsoever state I am, therewith to be content. So you have to be content of where you at and what the Most High gave you. Because you expecting more and more and more, you may receive that and get bugged out. You want to be murmuring that you only know this certain amount of precepts and this and this and that. Everything is under the word of the Lord, right? Reading on, I know both how to be abased and I know how to be abound. Everywhere in all things I am instructed, both to be full and to be hungry, both to abound and to suffer need, right? It's good that you only got the amount of understanding that you have. And it's good that you desire to want to learn more. But be content and be patient on what you have until the Lord grant you the things that you deserve to have, right? Brothers got it.
I just wanted to bring up something right quick. Proverbs chapter 10 and verse 4. It says, he becometh poor that dealeth with a slack hand, but the hand of the diligent maketh rich. Right? So we all heard the expression, hey, slow feet don't eat. The same thing come to the truth. Hey, if somebody is practicing the flashcards on how to break down this certain breakdown, hey, more than likely when it's game time, they're going to be better than you at executing that breakdown. They're going to be better at reading if they always reading at home and they practicing. And you don't read until it's time for you to read at camp. If you don't study until it's time for you to be at class. Things like that, right? So you got to remember that if you dealing with a slack hand, hey, you're going to reap what you sow. If you kind of lazy at work, you know what I'm saying? Hey, you're going to reap the benefits of exactly what you sown. But with that, I yield.
You got something, Mike?
You still, what precept was you left off at Matthew 20?
Verse 12.
Right. I'll read it. I'm gonna read it again. Right. I'm gonna start at verse 9. It says, and when they came that were hired about the 11th hour, they received every man a penny. But when the first came, they supposed that they would have received more, and likewise they received every man a penny. And when they have received it, they murmured against the good man of the house, saying, these last have wrought but 1 hour, right? And thou hast made them equal unto us, which have borne the burden of the heat of the day. Right there. Brother's been seeing what's been going on with what's that freak name? Nature Boy. Have y'all been seeing what's been going on with Nature Boy? Nature Boy, he was some sexual deviant, man. Right, who just went to jail he was the leader of some cult. I'm not sure what it was about, man. Right, but one thing that he was known for, one, he was a incredible. How am I trying to word this? He was the alternative lifestyle member, man. Right, he was into alternative sex styles, right? But he also was known for multiple wives, man. Right, and this precept has me thinking so much about brothers that have more than one wife, man. Right, because when you talk to a sister, right, if you give counsel to a sister and her husband, right, or you might go to a high holy day, and then you'll see her in the lobby crying, and everybody will be wondering what that sister is crying about, and she's crying because her husband is up there with his other wife. Or she'll inbox you on Instagram saying that this man then did all manner of garbage when really he's just also spending time with the other wife, right? And she'll be worried about what? Does he like her more than he likes me? I'm more worthy than her. I've been there first. I'm the one that he should be loyal to. That's the way that women think, right? When you have more than one wife, man, they start to feel like they deserve more. They start to be in competition with one another. And you know what that does to the household, man? That tears that household in half. Well, brothers, you act the same way, man. You brothers, can I say the B word? You brothers act like dishonorable women. That's how you act, man. Right? Because you rotting since the 12th hour, or Salakia, since the first hour. When his brother comes at the 11th hour, you figure that you're supposed to get more than him. I've been here longer. I deserve more. I can't even use the words that I want to use, man. But you know what I'm talking about. That's you. You act like a less than you act like a sister that has a husband that has more than one wife. The Lord called them what do you call them? A dog. Right? You act like a female dog, man. Right? What the Lord has going on with another man has nothing to do with you. This is the counsel that we give to sisters who are married to a husband that has more than one wife. What the Lord does with him has nothing to do with you. Doesn't matter how long you've been with him. Doesn't matter how long you've been serving him. What the Lord gives to him is the same thing he's going to give to you. The same way that you have to love your wives, right? And you have to, what the world calls, provide for them. And you have to give them the duty of marriage. And you can't take away their raiment, right? The Lord required those three things for every wife. You know what the Lord required for every man? You know what the Lord said he was going to give to every man? 1 penny. 1 penny. Take your penny and be happy. It's that simple. What the Lord gives to the next man shouldn't work. That's like when Jake at work and they trying to figure out how much the next man's check was. And see, why was his check more than mine? I've been working here longer. You shouldn't deserve. You're all stock shelves. You're a shelf stocker. Shelf stockers get paid the same. Cashiers get paid the same. Take your check and go home. It's that simple, man. My brothers got it.
We'll go down to Matthew 20 and 20 real quick, right? Because, it break it down, in itself, right? Because we getting towards the end of the parable anyway, right? But let's go to it, right? Matthew chapter 20 and verse number 20. He says, then came to him the mother of Zebedee's children with her sons worshiping him and desiring a certain thing of him. And he said unto her, what wilt thou? She saith unto him, grant that these my two sons may sit, the one on thy right hand and the other on thy left in thy kingdom. But Yahushua answered and said, ye know not what ye ask. Ye know not what ye ask. Are ye able to drink of the cup that I shall drink of, and to be baptized with the baptism that I am baptized with? They say unto him, we are able. And he saith unto them, ye shall indeed drink of my cup and be baptized with the baptism that I am baptized with, but to sit on my right hand and on my left is not mine to give, but it shall be given to them for whom it is prepared for my Father. Right, so he's saying, hey, I can't give you, I can't have you sit on my right hand or on my left. I can't control that, right? But you can drink of this cup. You can get baptized in my name, right? You can do the same thing I did, right? But I can't control, right, what the Most High is going to give you, right? And then it says, right, because you got to understand, right, because these ZBD, right, his children, right, his sons, right, they came into the truth after, right, the other disciples. Right after the 10 other disciples, they came into the truth after that. Right? And that's why I say, and when the 10 heard it, they were moved with indignation against the two brethren. I mean, and they was salty. They like, man, that's all they got to do is come and ask the Lord, and now they baptized. Right? I've been here with the Lord since way back when. Right? I've been here with the Lord since then, man. Why they get to just come and then they just get to get baptized that quick? Right? Why they getting this reward? Right? Why they getting this and that? Why they getting promised? I mean, why they getting this and that? Right? That's them hating. Right? That's the same way you had those men that was hired early in the morning by the householder. Right? And then you have the men of the 11th hour. Right? So that's what this parable is going into. Right? Even when you read this, right, that's what helps you understand the parable. Right? If you obviously you picking up on what you're reading. Right? But brothers got it. Unless they want me to they got a point on that, or they want me to read back on Matthew chapter 20 and verse number 12. Anybody? All right, this is Matthew chapter 20 and verse 13. It says, but he answered one of them and said, friend, I do thee no wrong. Didst thou not agree with me for a penny? Meaning, they when the Lord came to them, and he was offering them this, right? They agreed for that penny. They agreed for the money that they received at the end of the day, right? So, meaning you this is what you signed up for when you came into the truth. You signed up for whatever the reward is that you're gonna get, right? So you can't just complain and just act like you didn't know what you was gonna get at the end of the day. Right, the Lord said you was gonna get a penny, so you're gonna get it. Right? It says, take that thine is and go thy way. I will give unto this last, even as unto thee. Meaning, I'm gonna give the last person that was hired the same amount I gave you. Meaning, you better take it and you better deal with it. You better accept it. Right? Because he could just fire you, meaning he could take you out of the truth and hire somebody else that's gonna be grateful to receive that penny. Right? Brother's got a point. Right? Is it not lawful for me to do what I will with mine own? Is thine eye evil because I am good? So the last shall be first, and the first last. For many be called, but few chosen. Right? But that's all I got. Brothers got anything?
Yeah, I kind of got something on that, right?
Uh,
Like this parable, this parable kind of goes into like the spirit that our oppressor has on him, man. Like the spirit that our oppressor has on him, and the spirit that a lot of uppity black folks have on them, man. When I say black, I mean black, Hispanics, and Native Americans, right? Black is just a way of living, right? It's a lifestyle, right? But there's this thing called privilege, right? There's a thing called privilege, man, right? When you feel like because you're better than somebody, or in your mind you're better than them, because you feel like you've been there first, that you deserve more, right? I don't know if everybody at home know, but the kingdom of heaven is peace and prosperity for blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. For you to want more, you don't want more than the next brother or sister is absolute privilege, man. It's evil. And that makes you no better than our oppressor. Because our oppressor, his entire kingdom is about him benefiting more than everybody else. That's what it's about. Because he feels like he's better. He deserves the privilege to get more than everybody else. For the Lord to make a kingdom in which our people have peace, and you want more peace than everybody else? You want more what in the hell do you want more of? It's the kingdom of heaven. It's for all of us, man. Right? But you want more because you feel like you were here first. That's the same thing our oppressor did to us, man. When they shipped us over here on cargo ships. Because they felt like they were dominant and they were over in the Americas first, right? They felt like because they could power or overpower the so-called Native Americans, that they deserved more because they had more at the time and they had better utensils, that they deserved more than the so-called Native Americans. So you know what they did? They usurped authority, Right, verse 25, real fast. It says, but Yahushua called them unto him and said, ye know that the princes of the Gentiles exercise dominion over them, and they that are great exercise authority upon them, meaning that they flex their power upon them, man. That's what the so-called white man did. That's what he did. Look up the lynch. How many people died in the lynching of the Mexicans? Look that up real fast. How many people died in the lynching of the Mexicans, right? Because to think that way is absolute evil. It's oppression, man. The lynching of the Mexicans. Right? Roughly 5,000 Mexicans and Mexican Americans were killed during this period. Ask them how many Native Americans were slaughtered, right, when the Europeans came over here.
How many Europeans were slaughtered?
How many Native Americans were slaughtered when the Europeans came over here? It said right there. Were killed. Right? Approximately 55 million or 90% of the local population, right? It says it resulted in climate change and global. You killed so many people that it cooled the environment, that it changed the climate. Do you see how poisonous this mindset is, man? Look up how many black people died in bringing them over here on ships, man. How many of our people died, man, of the Southern Kingdom died when we were brought over here on ships? So you have 5,000 Mexicans that died during the lynching of the Mexicans, man. Right, 55 million indigenous Americans that were killed, man. Right? Did that say the slave ships? Did that say 12.5 million? So between 10 and 15 million were transported. Right? How many died? I mean, we could just use that 10 to 15 million right there. Look at that. That looks like TV static. But those are the bodies of black Israelites. That's what the princes of this world do because they were here first, or at least they feel that way, because they have more power, because they're stronger, because they have the upper hand. That's what it looks like. And that is the mentality that you have, man. Right? What the Lord was breaking down in this parable, what he was breaking down was not Stockholm syndrome, man. Right? But he was breaking down white supremacy and the mindset of white supremacy. Because the same way that our people have this mindset now, and we're being ruled over by the Greeks, is the same way that it was back then when they were being ruled over by the Greeks. When they were being ruled over by the Romans. You have the mentality of a white Caucasian male. And the Lord said, verse 25, I'm going to read it again. Right? I mean, it's like at verse 26. It says, but it shall not be so among you. Don't worry about what the Lord got going on for somebody else, man. Right? You agreed to the same penny, the same kingdom of heaven. Right? What did David say? David was greater than all of us, but he said, I would be a doorkeeper at the kingdom of heaven, man. A doorkeeper. That's less than a penny, man. It's like, that's his penny. Being a doorkeeper, man. Yet you want more. You want more, and you absolutely don't deserve it, man. Right? It says, but whosoever will be great among you, let him be your minister. To minister to somebody is like to be a servant. It's to be a server. I mean, you look, I think it's like Luke chapter 22, like around verse 15 or something like that. It calls them the benefactors, meaning that they receive the benefits, right? Being a laborer doesn't have its benefits sometimes. A lot of people don't know that because you're not a laborer, man. Being the one in charge or being the greatest doesn't always have its benefits. Sometimes you'll benefit the same amount as everybody else, even though you do more work, right? Like a brother that's over his household, man, you might do way more work than everybody that's in that house, man, to keep that house in order, but you still get the same benefit. The peace that you have in your house, man. the good future that you're giving to your children. They're benefiting off of that. You might not benefit off of everything, man. But the Lord said it's your job to be a minister, man. But you got to get the thought process of white supremacy out of your brains, man. Yahweh Shah was breaking down white supremacy 2,000 years ago. 2,000 years ago. Yet the same the same thought process of white supremacy is still going on today, man. That whosoever is the greatest or has the most authority or has the most power or ability should receive more. That is the thought process of the white man. Brothers got it, man.
I ain't got none. What does brothers do? Come. All right, come. We're going to give all honor, glory, and praise to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Mashiach, Wamalak Yahweh Shai. Shalom.
Shalom.
Shalom.